here in BoLS land. We are here with Mr. Erik Mona, man behind Paizo.
That's one way to say it. That's sure. Okay.
And we are here at GenCon 2016, and Erik is going to show us all the what's big and new and exciting in not only Pathfinder but just Paizo at large.
Yeah.
So, what do we got?
So what we've got is our big hardcover release this year is Horror Adventures.
All right.
And Horror Adventures is a 256-page player-focused guide to horror, fighting horrors, becoming horrors.
Okay.
There's also a lot of GM advice in there for running different types of horror games, from cosmic horror like H.P. Lovecraft all the way to like 80s slasher movie themes. Okay. The coolest thing about this book, in my opinion, is instead of new classes in this book, we often do new classes in these types of books, there's what we call corruptions. And so corruption is like, okay, so maybe you were bit by a vampire, right? And then the next day you wake up and you feel really charismatic and comfortable in your skin, but you don't really feel like you can eat normal food anymore, you know? And then so the GM will say to the player, do you want to embrace this new thing, or do you want to kind of fight against it? And there's a whole like series of those decision points
going down the path.
Exactly, and you can really do some fun stories that way. It's all about kind of enhancing the story at the table. Okay. And so it's not just like, okay, you have vampirism, okay, I cast remove curse or remove disease, all right, you're good, right, the end. Right. No, it's like, where's the story opportunity? Right,
you're definitely pulling them into the
and let's marry that to some really interesting mechanics. Okay. So like, as by way of an example, I play a weekly Pathfinder game with Jason Bowman, our lead designer. Okay. And the good thing about that is he's got the rules down pat. The bad thing about that is he sometimes playtests rules before I've published them or seen them, and so I don't know what I'm facing, you know? So it's a little strange for me to be in that position. And we have a guy at our table who is like your typical chaotic neutral rogue dude who always gets into trouble. You know, it's also the first time he's ever played any kind of tabletop role-playing game at all. So he's still filled with like this giddy enthusiasm.
Wild card.
Yeah. And so we meet this like horrible shadow creature, and it like flies into him and disappears. And so we're like, well, that's weird. And then the next day he just vomits up this gray ichor. And we were like, well, that's really not good. And it's like, you feel like you're losing your sense of touch, and like you're just disconnected from the world. But you can see in the dark now. And here's this like chaotic neutral rogue guy, and he's like, what, I can see in the dark?
That sounds
great. And Jason says, do you want to embrace this change, or do you want to fight it? He's like, I'm embracing it, you know? And so we're like, what? You know, I'm playing a lawful good cleric, and I'm like, no.
Who needs their sense of touch?
Right, and certainly
that could never come in handy.
Yeah, and so this guy, over the course of like 3-4 sessions, was kind of exploring these strange new powers, and it turned out he'd been like possessed by this shadow creature, and it was all using the corruption system in Horror Adventures. Yeah. So in addition to that, there's of course spells and gear designed for fighting monsters and things. There's a variety of different corruptions. There we see our iconic monk Sejan, who is suffering from the ghoul corruption. So he's been bitten by ghouls, gotten good old ghoul fever, and is slowly becoming a ghoul. One of the fun things of this book, from a publisher perspective, was each of the corruptions, we took one of our iconic heroes and made him into a vampire or a werewolf or something like that. So here we have
kind of like all your examples.
Yeah, so just in time for Halloween, we have Horror Adventures.
When is this going to be out?
It's out now. It came out about an hour ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Simultaneous release in retail stores. You can also get it on Paizo.com.
And what's the price point on this?
It's $49.90.
I don't need to put you on the
spot. Hold on. It's $44.99. $44.99.
There we go. All right.
Fully hardcover, beautifully illustrated.
And that is Horror Adventures. We'll put this guy to the side.
So let's move from something brand new to something kind of old but new at the same time. Okay. And that is our Pathfinder role-playing game pocket editions. Okay. So what these are is they take the full-size Pathfinder, the most recent printing of the full-size Pathfinder core rules. We've got the core rule book and the bestiary as well, the monster book, and shrinks it down to a smaller size, makes it a paperback book. Sure. It's very portable. Yep. It's surprisingly readable, given how. Isn't it?
I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, look at these glasses.
Right. Exactly. So these came out today as well. I've had a couple of copies of these. I took to Origins, I took to PaizoCon UK, and every time I show players these books, they get really, really excited.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're lighter, so you can carry them. A lot of the convention gamers really like them because it's easier just to throw them in their backpack.
I see that. These are going to be great for like students. And
Exactly, and they're also much less expensive. So the core rulebook here is $24.99.
Oh wow,
and then the bestiary is $20.
That is
so it's a good way maybe to test out the game if you've never played it before, and or to supplement your books. One of the other things that's cool about it is these books have gone through like 6 or 7 printings now since they came out, and so every time we reprint them, we fix a few things here and there. You know, people point out an error. Okay, we'll fix that. And so some folks who bought their Pathfinder core rulebook when it came out in 2009 are now 5 or 6 printings back, and so they can pick one of these up for a relatively low cost. They've got the most recent up-to-date versions.
They're totally ready to go.
Yeah, so these come out. These come out today. They're selling very briskly, and I think once they start appearing in the Sagamore Ballroom, where we've got 180 tables of people playing Pathfinder every slot of the show, I think we're gonna sell quite a few of them. So right now, the paperback line is core rulebook and the bestiary. There's been a lot of requests already for other hardcover books in our line, and we'll see what we can do.
All right. Those are great.
So that's that. Something else that's kind of fun, I can show you here, is we just announced at PaizoCon a couple of months ago, and this is a preview image, a game called Starfinder. So we are doing a science fantasy role-playing game.
I'm going to ask you about that.
Launching here at GenCon in 2017. So it comes out next year. We're in design and development for it right now. So we've got a seminar on Saturday where we'll be spilling some of the classes that are going to be in the game. There's 7 new classes. There's 6 new races. Oh, 6 races. There's human, so they're not necessarily all new. There's a human race. But there's also a Yosoki rat folk from Red Planet of Akaton. There's a Foron Kasatha. There are a number of other races as well. We are hard at work on that. We're going to be, the design team has got some workshops where they're going to be playtesting here at the show, the Starship Combat rules. Basically, Starfinder is a science fantasy approach to Pathfinder. So what we're calling it is conceptually compatible. It's not strictly compatible. So same ability scores, you know, skills work the same. You roll a d20, add your ability modifier, add your ranks, and that's your roll. But we've significantly consolidated the skills, so it's a different skill set. We've changed how hit points and wounds work a little bit so that it can better emulate, you know, gunfire and things like that. And some armor changes as well. And all kinds of cool beam weapons and, you know, high-tech stuff. It's science fantasy, so it's a magical universe. In fact, it's the universe of Pathfinder, a indeterminate amount of time in the future. So the sort of the central conceit of the campaign world is that it's Golarion. Golarian's the world of Pathfinder. It's Golarian's star system, but sometime in the past, Golarion itself disappeared. The planet is gone. So, and during that period of time, history has been wiped clear, memory has been wiped clear. No one knows. It's called the gap. No one really knows what happened to Golarion. And in Golarion's place is this spaceship, or this space station called Absalom Station. And all of the sort of refugees of the lost Golarion have moved into this giant space station. And that's kind of the central hub of our campaign. And unlike Pathfinder, which is really kind of about exploring the weird history of the world and going into ruins and things, the fact that Golarion is not around means that you can't really do that. And it's all about going out into the reaches of outer space and discovering new worlds, hence the name Starfinder. So every team is a starship crew, so you have your own characters and you also have a starship. And so as you get more influential, get more resources, get higher level, you'll also be modifying your starship to become better, or getting a new ship that's even better. So we're doing a lot of stuff with spaceships, we're doing a lot of stuff with trying to incorporate, you know, rules for technology into Pathfinder. Every time we've sort of experimented with science fantasy before, like we did the Iron Gods Adventure Path last year, where a crashed spaceship lands in fantasy world, and what does that mean? And we did a technology guide because we're just like, people have been asking us for guns and lasers and jetpacks, you know, since the beginning. So let's see what that did. that book blazed through 2 print runs. I mean, there's a real hunger for science fantasy, and so we're taking Pathfinder kind of to the next level with Starfinder in August of 2017.
Fantastic.
One other thing that's new and exciting, well, not about Starfinder, but one other thing that's new and exciting that I'm particularly excited about because I'm personally very involved in it, is a new comic that we just announced.
Okay.
And that is called Pathfinder Worldscape.
Okay.
And that is being done with our partners at Dynamite. I am writing it. And basically what it is it's a giant fantasy crossover series that crosses over the Pathfinder heroes with some of Dynamite's other fantasy heroes. So we've got Red Sonja, John Carter of Mars, his buddy Tars Tarkas, the Green Martian. Tarzan is in it. This actually is a character called Thunda, who is from 1950, was created by Frank Frazetta. So Dynamite sort of said, hey, in addition to the characters we have, why don't you go and find some of the cool old pulpy public domain characters. Right. So we did that. This is another one of them called Phantoma. She's sort of a jungle goddess character. And you can flip through this. These are all the interior pages, and so it's too much to show here, but there's a lot of fun stuff, different covers and things. So the idea is that all of these heroes are pulled into a dimension called the Worldscape. And the greatest heroes from 3 different worlds, Earth, Barsoom, and Galarian, are pulled into here. So this we got Tom Mandrake, one of my favorite artists as a kid, has done a cover to my own comic, which I can't even believe is happening. So Jonathan Lau does the interiors. They're really, really cool. That's coming out in October. It's monthly from Dynamite, and it goes for 6 months. And in addition to the stories, they have RPG appendices. So we're going to be doing stats for like radium rifles and John Carter and Tarzan and Red Sonja and all that. That's great. So it's a really neat opportunity. Again, kind of dipping our toes in a way into the sort of the multi-genre realm. And that's Pathfinder Worldscape. So I'm super stoked because, of course, I would be super stoked. I wrote it, you know, but
it is your baby.
Exactly. So a couple other neat things we don't have here, but next month is the launch of, or later this month actually, 3rd week of August, is the launch of the Strange Eons Adventure Path, which is where Pathfinder's going full Lovecraft, if you will. We always ask our fans, you know, what adventure paths do you want to see, and let's do a Lovecrafty cosmic horror one. It's always high on the list. So with Strange Eons, we're doing that 6 monthly installments of the Pathfinder Adventure Path. And one of the cool things about it is much of Lovecraft's lore and things is in the public domain. So that's why you can find
that's why
Cthulhu, stuffed animals, and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of what people associate with Cthulhu actually comes from the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, or things that are not public domain but that are licensed by the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Well, we play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game in the Paizo offices. We're buddies with the Chaosium guys, so we said, wouldn't it be cool if we partnered up with Chaosium and we're able to bring some of those Call of Cthulhu monsters to Pathfinder? And so we've got sort of exclusive, Cthulhu monsters in the back of every volume of the Pathfinder Adventure Path. So for those folks out there who are big Lovecraft fans, or big Mythos fans, I should say, because there's elements from other writers as well that we're pulling in. The City of Carcosa and the King in Yellow by Robert Chambers, that's in there. You get to go to Carcosa. So there's this amazing, and Carcosa is sort of like the Worldscape in a way, brings things in with it. So there's this great cover illustration on one of the Pathfinder volumes with the Pathfinder heroes fighting on like a 1910 Paris street that's like in this hellscape. Really, really cool. You get to meet Erik Zahn from the Music of Erik Zahn Lovecraft story. You get to meet Abdul Al-Hazred, the author of the Necronomicon. So it's really Lovecrafty. So that's starting in end of August and goes 6 months as well. Let's see what else. You know, the big thing here at GenCon that's always really exciting is the Sagamore Ballroom, where we've got 180 tables of Pathfinder playing. On Friday night and Saturday night, we're going to have these giant specials where there's over 1,000 players playing the same game. It's the largest organized play space here at GenCon. We've tricked it out with like all kinds of crazy 30-foot banners. I mean, it's like Pathfinder Central. We will be sure to definitely check that out.
Give all of our readers a little taste of what that looks like.
We've got our friends from the Miniatures Building Authority have also designed a whole little village with like 3D terrain and stuff. You can just kind of walk up and play. really, really cool in there. Yeah, that's kind of the gist. In October, we're doing the Mummy's Mask base set for the adventure card game.
Okay.
Obsidian's adventure card game app is on display here. That's available now for tablets.
Okay.
Soon to come to Android and phones. There's so much more, but that's the gist of it. Yeah.
That's plenty.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, that has been Mr. Erik Mona, and thank you all for watching. And there'll be a lot more Paizo coverage coming soon.